Hello guys, thank you for joining me again. It is day 3 and I can't believe it. Okay, I think I can believe it. Yeah, it is day 3. But thank you for the feedback. The more I get feedback, the more these videos become better and relevant to you. If there's any issue that you'd like me to work on, please feel free to share criticism in a nice way. Okay, so we want to add a new segment to this show of ours, and this segment is called Useless Facts That It's Just Fun to Know. So, fact of today: do you know it will take 1.2 million mosquitoes each sucking once to completely drain the average human blood? To the poem of today. So today we are doing poem number 3. Remember, the main aim of this is to go through this book called Petals of Emotion that I was privileged to be an author. If you still want a copy, contact me and I will, of course, make sure that it is delivered to you. So today we are doing poem number 3 and it is called Transform. Shades of life are woven by our own actions, so the wise men say. But see the mosaic sculpted by man, sketches of a wretched, tired, and bored race. Fingers tattered with iron, smelted by him, walls once pasted with polished white marbles, graffiti with mediocrity and self-denial. But an artist God is, weaving quills of the broken into a beautiful embroidery, covering the heart's window from the distortion of men, changing one from a vagrant to a prince, from a desert to a spring of glittering sunstarch, from dormancy to vibrancy, from a statistic to an influencer. And all he asks, allow me, son. So the poem, it's very simple. It's just that I've added a lot of similes in it. But what it's trying to portray is what happens when man decide to take charge of their own lives. Okay, because the earth was created beautiful with God, and God had good intentions for human beings, but human beings are always looking for independence from God to do things on their own. And stanza number 2 shows us that the world was created in a beautiful marble. It looks at life as a wall, and it shows that human beings, when they decide to take charge of their own lives, the consequences of what that happens. And so the marble becomes graffiti with mediocrity and self-denial, and it's very easy to see what happens when we remove God from a society. Because when you remove God, there is no moral authority. Man is a law unto themselves. But stanza 3 says us that God is an artist, that even when we are broken, he will take those pieces and those marbles that we've broken down and create a very, very, very wonderful embroidery. And he can create a very wonderful life out of it. But all he is asking of us is that we allow him to come in and be part of it. See, you need to realize that God sees you as a warrior, even when you're a Gideon. God sees you as a leader, even when you're a shepherd like David. God sees your inner self that no one else can be able to see. So I don't know if you've become a God unto yourselves. You make rules as you go. Let me tell you, at the end of the day, you don't have the power to direct everything in life, but there's one who can be able to do that, and that is God. So all he wants for you is to allow him. Thank you. I hope you've enjoyed the poem. And so on to the story of today, and it comes from Congo. Yes, from Congo. I don't know why I'm so excited. But about Congo, hii ni story yenyu. So it's called The Fairy Wife. There were 2 sons of one mother, one named Mavungu and the other Luemba. Luemba was a fine child and grew up to be a handsome man. Mavungu was puny and miserable looking, and as he came to be a man, he was very small and mean looking. The mother always treated Luemba very well, but she maltreated Mavungu and made him sleep outside the house beneath the mango trees. Often, when he came to her to beg for food, she would throw over his head the water in which she had cooked the beans. Mavungu could not stand this bad treatment any longer, so he ran away into the woods and wandered away from home until he came to a river. Here he found a canoe which he used to carry him still farther from his town, and he paddled and paddled until he came to a huge tree that so overspread the river that he could not paddle any further. So he laid his paddle down and caught hold of the leaves of the fuba tree to pull his canoe along. But no sooner had he begun to pull the leaves of the fuba tree than he heard a voice, as if of a woman faintly crying, "You are hurting me. Please, take care." Mavungu wondered but still pulled himself along. "Take care, you're breaking my leg off," said the voice. Still Mavungu pulled until a leaf broke off and suddenly changed into a beautiful woman. This startled Mavungu, so he pulled many other leaves of the fuba tree. Each leaf turned into a man or a woman until his canoe was full that he could not pull it. Then the first woman told him that she had come to be his wife and comfort him, and Mavungu was no longer afraid, but he was very happy. Then the wife spoke to her fetish and said, "I am to marry a man so ugly as this one." And immediately Mavungu changed into a handsome man. Hallelujah. "Is he to be dressed like that?" she cried, and straight away his dress was wonderfully changed. In the same magical way, the wife built Mavungu a large house and a town for his people, so that he wanted nothing that was needful to a prince. And as people passed by, they were astonished at the change and wondered where the Mavungu had found his beautiful wife. And his mother and brother and the whole family came to see him, and he treated them kindly and sent them away loaded with presents. But he had been told by his wife to say nothing to them as to the secret of his happiness. He therefore left them in ignorance of the fact. Then his people invited Mavungu to their town, but his wife told him not to go, and so he stayed at home. But when he had received many invitations, he finally agreed to visit them. In spite of his wife's advice, he promised, however, not to eat any of the food given to him. When he arrived in town, his mother placed poisoned food before him and urged him to eat it, but he refused. They then asked about his beautiful wife, and not thinking, he replied, "Oh, when I left you, I wandered through the woods." But when he had got thus far, he heard his wife's voice ringing through his words, "Oh, Mavunga," and he immediately remembered, and he got up and he ran away. His wife was very cross with him and told him plainly that she would not help him in the next time he made a stupid move. Sometime after this, Mavungu again went to visit his family. His wife said nothing, neither asked him to stay at home, nor giving her consent to go. When he had greeted his mother and had eaten food, the family again asked him to tell them how he had found his wife. And he said, "When I left you because of your bad treatment, I wandered through the woods and came to a river. Dear me, where has my beautiful heart gone?" "Your brother has taken it to put it in the sun," said the mother, but continued, "I found a canoe with a paddle in it. Where has my coat gone?" "Your brother has taken that also. And I paddled and paddled. Where have you taken my beautiful cloth?" "To have it washed, of course. I paddled until I came to a big tree. Nay, why not leave me with my shirt?" And as I pulled off the leaves of the fuba tree, they turned into my wife and her companions, but I am naked. Then Mavungu remembered, and he ran away to his town, only to find it and his beautiful wife had disappeared. And when the people heard the whole story, they said it served Mavungu right for being so silly as to want to please his people, who had been his enemies all along, rather than please his wife, who had been so kind to him. Tell me what you learned from this story. I think what I'm learning from myself is that you need to trust your wife. And the second thing is that women have the power of changing the lives of men. I mean, if you look at people before and after wedding and how they look, even how they present themselves, it's very different. So women have the power to transform life. You know yourselves. So the verse of today comes from Revelation 3:20, and it is actually, as usual, it is in tandem with the poem that we read. And it says, "Look, I stand at the door and knock. If you hear my voice and open the door, I will come in and we shall share a meal together as a friend." That is what God is asking you. You can follow me on Instagram because that is where I usually post poems, at least 2 poems every week for you to be able to keep. But anyway, have a good night, stay blessed, and don't forget to comment.